Ashley was a picture of Americana. It was a town where children laughed and played in the streets. Neighbors helped neighbors. Life was simple, peaceful. Nestled amidst vast forests, Ashley thrived on a sense of community and tranquility. The air was always fresh, filled with the sweet scent of pine and the gentle hum of nature. The town was a living postcard, a testament to the idyllic charm of small-town America. But this serenity hid a dark secret, a secret that would soon rear its ugly head. On August 8, 1952, Ashley vanished. The town and everyone in it disappeared without a trace. The first sign of trouble was the silence. The once lively town was eerily quiet. No phone calls were answered. No lights flickered in the windows. Concern quickly turned to dread as Sheriff Ben Carter arrived to investigate. He found empty homes, abandoned belongings, and cars left idling with doors wide open. It was as if time had simply stopped. The tranquility of the town had been replaced by a chilling emptiness. The investigation began immediately, but every clue led to a dead end. There were no signs of struggle, no forced entries, no ransom notes. The disappearance of Ashley's inhabitants was absolute. The town had simply vanished. The mystery deepened with each passing day. Days turned into weeks as the investigation continued. Search parties combed the forest surrounding Ashley, desperate for any sign of life. Then came a chilling discovery. In the town square, where a beautiful fountain once stood, a single tree remained. Its trunk was twisted and charred, as if struck by lightning. But what truly sent chills down the spines of the investigators were the strange symbols carved into its bark. Symbols that seemed ancient, otherworldly. The symbols defied explanation. They were like nothing anyone had ever seen before. Experts were called in, but even they were baffled by the strange markings. The mystery of Ashley deepened, shrouded in a veil of fear and the unknown. Section 4. Echoes of 1982. 30 years later, the legend of Ashley had become the stuff of local folklore. The town, once bustling with life, had vanished without a trace, leaving behind only whispers and ghostly tales. The older generation spoke of it in hushed tones, while the younger ones treated it as a thrilling bedtime story. Most dismissed it as a ghost story, a cautionary tale told to keep children from wandering too far into the woods. Parents would often use the story to ensure their kids stayed close to home, warning them of the dangers that lurked in the shadows of the forest. But for some, the mystery of Ashley was an itch that needed to be scratched. Amateur historians, thrill seekers, and paranormal enthusiasts found themselves drawn to the enigma, each hoping to be the one to uncover the truth. They pored over old maps, read every book and article they could find, and shared theories in online forums. In 1982, a group of urban explorers decided to venture into the Forbidden Forest, hoping to uncover the truth behind the legend. They were a diverse group, each with their own reasons for joining the expedition. Some sought fame, others were driven by pure curiosity, and a few were simply looking for an adventure. They were armed with cameras, flashlights, and a healthy dose of skepticism. They meticulously planned their journey, ensuring they had all the necessary equipment and supplies. Their excitement was palpable, but so was their apprehension. The forest had a reputation, and they were about to test its boundaries. As they ventured deeper into the woods, they stumbled upon something that sent chills down their spines. The forest seemed to grow darker and more oppressive with each step, and an eerie silence enveloped them. It was as if the very air was charged with a sense of foreboding. There, shrouded in an unnatural mist, stood Ashley. The town appeared out of nowhere, its buildings eerily intact despite the passage of time. The mist clung to the structures, giving them an otherworldly glow. It was as if they had stepped into a different dimension, one where time had stood still. It was frozen in time, exactly as it was on that fateful day in 1952. The cars, the shops, the houses, everything was preserved in a ghostly tableau. The clock in the town square was stopped at the exact moment the town had vanished, a silent witness to the mystery that had unfolded. The houses were still, the shops were empty, and the streets were deserted. But something was different. The air was thick with a strange energy, a sense of anticipation that made the hairs on the back of their necks stand up. It was as if the town was waiting for something or someone. There was a strange energy in the air, a palpable sense of unease. The explorers could feel it, a tingling sensation that seemed to seep into their very bones. They exchanged uneasy glances, each wondering if they had made a terrible mistake. But it was too late to turn back now. They had come this far, and they were determined to uncover the truth, no matter the cost. Section 5. The fog rolls in. As the explorers ventured deeper into the ghost town, they encountered figures moving through the mist. The air was thick with an unsettling silence, broken only by the occasional creak of old wooden structures. The fog seemed to swallow every sound, creating an eerie atmosphere that made the explorers' hearts race. They were the townspeople of Ashley, going about their daily routines, as if nothing had changed. Men in old-fashioned attire tipped their hats to invisible acquaintances, while women in long dresses carried baskets filled with phantom goods. It was as if time had frozen in this ghostly tableau. But something was terribly wrong. The air was heavy with a sense of foreboding, and the explorers could feel it in their bones. The town, though seemingly alive, was devoid of any true life. It was a haunting echo of what once was. Their eyes were vacant, their movements stiff and unnatural. It was as if they were marionettes controlled by some unseen force. The explorers shuddered at the sight, feeling a chill run down their spines. The explorers tried to communicate with them, but their words were met with blank stares and hollow silence. No matter how loudly they spoke or how desperately they gestured, the townspeople remained oblivious, trapped in their own spectral world. The townspeople seemed oblivious to their presence, trapped in a perpetual loop of their final moments. They repeated the same actions over and over, as if caught in an endless haunting dance. The explorers watched in horror, realizing that these were not mere apparitions, but souls trapped in a never-ending nightmare. Fear began to creep into the hearts of the explorers. They could feel the weight of the town's tragic history pressing down on them, and the realization that they were not alone in this forsaken place was terrifying. The fog seemed to grow thicker, as if feeding off their fear. They realized that they had stumbled into something sinister, something beyond their comprehension. The ghost town of Ashley was not just abandoned, it was cursed. The explorers' minds raced as they tried to make sense of the surreal and terrifying scene before them. Panic set in as the fog began to thicken, swirling around them like a living entity. They were trapped. The once clear path back to safety was now obscured by the dense mist, and the explorers felt a growing sense of dread. They knew they had to find a way out before the fog consumed them entirely, but every step they took seemed to lead them deeper into the heart of the ghost town's dark secret. Section 6. A final plea. The explorers tried to retrace their steps, but the fog disoriented them, twisting the familiar paths into a labyrinth of shadows and whispers. Each step they took seemed to lead them further away from the safety they sought, deeper into the unknown. The once familiar trails now felt like a maze designed to trap them, with every turn leading to more confusion and despair. They were lost, hopelessly entangled in the supernatural web of Ashley. The forest seemed to come alive, with the trees whispering secrets and the shadows playing tricks on their minds. Every rustle of leaves, every snap of a twig heightened their sense of dread. They could feel the presence of something watching them, something that did not want them to leave. Their cameras malfunctioned, their flashlights flickered and died, plunging them into darkness. The technology they relied on failed them, leaving them vulnerable and blind. In the pitch black, their senses were overwhelmed by the oppressive silence and the creeping cold. They huddled together, trying to find comfort in each other's presence, but the fear was palpable. Panic turned to terror as they felt unseen hands grabbing at them, pulling them deeper into the heart of the abandoned town. The sensation of being touched by something they couldn't see or fight against drove them to the brink of madness. They screamed and thrashed, but the fog seemed to absorb their cries, muffling their voices and amplifying their isolation. Their cries for help were swallowed by the fog, their pleas for mercy unanswered. The dense mist acted like a barrier, cutting them off from the outside world. It was as if the town itself was a living entity, determined to keep them within its grasp. The more they shouted, the more the fog seemed to close in around them, suffocating their hopes of rescue. The last remnants of their courage crumbled as they realized the horrifying truth. They were trapped, with no way out. The realization hit them like a physical blow, leaving them paralyzed with fear. They had come seeking answers, but now they were the ones who needed saving. The weight of their situation pressed down on them, making it hard to breathe, hard to think. They were not alone in Ashley. The shadows moved with purpose, and the whispers grew louder, more insistent. The presence of unseen entities became undeniable, and the explorers could feel their malevolent intent. The town was not just abandoned, it was haunted by forces beyond their understanding. They had stumbled into a place where the line between the living and the dead was blurred, and they were not meant to leave. The town had claimed them, and there was no escape. The realization that they were prisoners in this eerie place filled them with a sense of hopelessness. They had ventured into Ashley seeking adventure, but now they were fighting for their very survival. The town's ominous isolation was a constant reminder of their fate. The last shred of evidence from their expedition was a single journal entry recovered weeks later just outside the forest's edge. The journal was weathered and worn, but the words inside told a harrowing tale. It was a desperate attempt to document their final moments, a plea for anyone who might find it to understand the horrors they faced. The fog, "It's alive, whispering, can't see, help us, don't..." The handwriting was frantic, the words barely legible. It was clear that the writer was in a state of panic, their thoughts disjointed and their fear palpable. The message was a chilling testament to the terror they experienced, a final cry for help that would never come. The entry ended abruptly, leaving a chilling testament to the explorer's fate. The final words were cut off, as if the writer had been interrupted. It was a haunting reminder of the dangers that lurked in Ashley, and a warning to anyone who might dare to follow in their footsteps. The journal was the only clue to their disappearance, a ghostly echo of their final plea. Section 7, 60 Years of Silence. Years turned into decades, and the story of the explorers faded into obscurity. The legend of Ashley remained, a chilling reminder of the mysteries that lie hidden beneath the surface of our world, but even the most enduring legends can be reawakened. On August 8, 2012, the 60th anniversary of the disappearance of Ashley, a wave of unexplained occurrences swept through the area. Strange lights were seen flickering in the forest, and whispers carried on the wind seemed to speak of forgotten names. Some locals claimed to have seen ghostly figures wandering the outskirts of the woods, their forms shimmering like heat haze. The legend of Ashley, once dismissed as a ghost story, was once again on everyone's lips.